Setting up the budget overview section is very, very simplified. I just have four main categories that I start out on my template with, and feel free to make changes however you wish to them. The monthly bills section are the things that I know I'm going to have to pay every single month, no matter what. They're non-negotiable. I do put my car insurance in this section, even though I technically pay it every 6 months, because to me, you absolutely have to have insurance, at least where I live, in order to be able to drive your car, and you need your car in order to like get to work and things like that. So these are like my non-negotiables. Absolutely have to get put off to the side. Cell phone savings, I guess that could technically be moved to other places. But because I use my cell phone a lot for business purposes, it is a non-negotiable for me. Everyday expenses, AVG just means average. So like what am I spending on average for my groceries? What am I spending on average for my gas? Things like that. I do have fund money in two places here, and the reason for that is because some people like to put that in there like everyday month to month expenses. Some people like to consider it more of a flex spend type thing, where they can put it over there. Just get rid of the one that you're not going to be using. So I usually keep mine in my rainy day fund, so that just stays over there. If you would like to add more space to a category group, you can just highlight two cells in any of the groups and right click, click insert cells, shift down. And what that'll do is that'll create a new row so that inside that group that you can go in and add. If you want to remove the cells, you just do the same thing, click delete cells, shift up. What that's going to do, if you do it in the middle of the group, it'll make it so that way when you go and get these totals right here, it will automatically continue to keep those totals without having to go in and re-highlight what you're adding. If you'd like to add additional category groups, go ahead, just copy and paste one into another section here. You will want to make sure to go in. Let's say we have an additional everyday expenses. We're going to copy that, paste it down here. When you go to your budget total and double click on it, you want to make sure that every single one of these sections that are in italics are highlighted. So you'll want to go in, double check that, just add a little plus sign at the end, add that, and then that will send you the equal sign. Now, the one thing I am going to mention for here, or I guess there's two spots. One is interest. Interest is in italics because I try my darndest to, for credit card payments, not so much for fixed loan payments, but for things where that's variable, like a credit card. I try to account for credit card interest in my loans or in my debt payments if I have any debt, so that way I know for sure that I'm making some positive progress on those payments and I'm not just falling further and further behind. For the rainy day funds, the emergency fund will automatically calculate 10% of your average income. Now, if you want to go in and change that so it's more or less, just click into the cell. You can either edit up here or you can double click. And you can change that to whatever you want. So if you want to save 15%, you can. If you want to save um, just 5%, you can. I was going to say the same always here because I don't have any average income showing up. If you want to change it to a flat amount, just overwrite this calculation to whatever the flat amount is for you. Um, try try to put something in your emergency fund, even if it can't be the recommended 10 to 15% that most finance people try to convince people to do. Try to put something in your emergency fund because chances are there's going to be something when you set up your initial budget that you forgot about. So this gives you kind of like that oh crap moment section. And if you actually have a true emergency that comes up, like your car breaks down and you don't have enough money in your car maintenance fund, or you go to the hospital and you've got additional medical bills or anything like that, anything along those lines, um, having some form of an emergency fund does help alleviate some of that stress when getting those bills, even if it doesn't cover the full expense. So try and put something in your emergency fund if you can, and try not to use it for things that are not emergencies. Like, oh crap, my aunt came into town, and I'm supposed to be taking her out for dinner. That's not an emergency. Not buying somebody a present, that's not an emergency. Try and use it for true emergencies as you continue to build out the rest of your budget and are able to account for those non everyday expenses that come up normally that maybe you forgot to plan for.